Hey everybody, and welcome to today's video. Now in today's video I want to talk to you about orphaned resources within Azure and trying to find them. I recently was deleting a bunch of virtual machines inside a resource group. I still had a bunch of virtual machines that I wanted to keep inside that resource group, so I was deleting those virtual machines individually. Now what I found afterwards was that some of the disks and some of the network interfaces, or NICs, for those VMs or virtual machines that I was trying to delete were still there, and that made me realise that I had to try and clean up some of the mess that was left behind from my attempted cleanup. In order to understand which NICs and which disks I wanted to clean up and make sure I didn't break any existing virtual machines, I turned to Azure Resource Graph Explorer to try and identify the right orphaned resources and then be able to delete the right ones again, and like I said, not break anything that was existing inside the subscription. So let's dive into the Azure Resource Graph Explorer and show up some Kusto queries that can show me those orphaned resources. So here we are inside the Azure Resource Graph Explorer. The first thing we want to do is make sure we're filtering by the right subscriptions. We then use the query box to input a query. Now this query actually looks for any disks that are not attached. So anything that is unattached within our subscription that we filtered through will show up, or should show up, in this query. Now if we run this query, we get back the output. Now the initial output isn't in a friendly manner. We can see lots of subscription IDs and information. However, if we tick the little box that says formatted results, we can get a much friendlier output, something that we can read and understand, and quite easily understand what disks are unattached and where they actually live within our subscription. Now we can save this query if this is something that we want to do repeatedly. We can save this query. So we give it a name, and potentially you can give it a description so that you know how to find it and what it actually does later on. We can also share these queries with other people within inside our resource group or subscription, or you can make it private. I'm going to make this a shared query so that other people within inside my subscription have access to this query. You can publish it to a default resource group, but I like to have my resource groups named in a specific fashion, so I'm going to create my own to save these queries in. So now we have that query saved for future use. What we want to do is do a new query to actually look for any unattached network interface resources as well. Now in this query we're actually searching for network interfaces that are unattached to a virtual machine and are unattached to private endpoints as well. We do this because network interfaces can be attached to a private endpoint but will maybe not have a virtual machine attached to them, so that can kind of catch us out. So we make sure that we're filtering for any network interfaces that are unattached to virtual machines and private endpoints. Again, we can save this query for future use as well, which is obviously a handy thing if you are running this query multiple times. And again, you can either save it as a private query or you can save it as a shared query. If you wanted to look at one of those queries again, all you would do is click on the Open a Query box, find the shared query or private query, and then select it. And then you can run that and get the output that you need again. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Hopefully it has been helpful in showing you how you can use Azure Resource Explorer Graph to identify some orphaned resources within your subscriptions and hopefully help you in the future. Please do like this video if it's been useful to you and consider subscribing to my channel.